Out of the hundreds of criminal cases that I've been hired to investigate, one thing that I see very in common is that many of the crimes, the allegations, are simply he said, she said type of crimes, whereas there's really no way of proving or disproving that they did in fact occur or didn't. However, in this case, obviously a crime did occur. Here we have a dead body, the victim, the decedent, who suffered gunshot wounds to the head. However, to compound this tragedy, another one occurred, and that was the arrest of my client, who claimed his innocence. After he was arrested, the district attorney filed charges, and now he faces a murder trial. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through this comprehensive criminal defense case for a better explanation. To be cautious of client confidentiality, I'm not going to give you probably 95% of the details of this case, and I'm going to give you a nutshell version of what occurred. But in the police report stated that they had one key witness that allegedly said that she was sleeping in her upstairs apartment in bed, and she heard multiple gunshots. She then looked out the window, and down on the ground somewhere she saw my client shoot the victim, and the victim fell to the ground and died there. However, my investigation showed that is probably what not occurred. So I made numerous attempts to re-interview this key witness, and she was very evasive. I knocked on her door, sent cards, letters, you name it, gave her business cards, and she just never responded. But finally one day, while my client is still in custody, I was finally able to contact her. Good afternoon. My name is Bill Rutz. I'm a private investigator. I'm hired on behalf of my client who's accused of murdering your neighbor. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Okay, come on in.
Oh, great. Thank you. Appreciate that. And when I told her what her statement was to the police, she was very shocked, and she didn't believe me. She asked me, she said, "Can I see the police report?" So I showed her the police report, and she read it, and she was perplexed. She was hurt, and she was angry, because she said that she never told the police officers that my client shot the victim. As a matter of fact, she said that it is true that she did hear multiple gunshots. She said she did run to her bedroom window and did look outside. However, all she saw was what she described as a spark, because it was dark, it was late at night. At the very last gunshot she heard, she saw a spark, but it was in her peripheral vision. She described it at least 50 degrees over in her peripheral vision. So she looked in the direction of the spark, which was the last gunshot as well, which obviously was the muzzle flash from a handgun, and that's when she saw the victim fall to the ground and succumb to his fatal injuries. However, she never saw my client at the scene during that shot, nor did she see my client with the gun or shoot the victim. But of course, being an objective investigator and wanting to find the truth to report to my attorney so that he can know how to properly handle this case, I was kind of confused, because either she was lying to me or she was lying to the police, one or the other, so I thought. But then I asked her some more questions. I asked her why she was so evasive and why she would not respond to any of my business cards or phone calls or knocks on her door. And she told me that she heard that I was trying to get a hold of her, but she called the homicide detective on the case, and she asked him if she should in fact talk to me, and he actually told her no. He told her, "Do not talk to the private investigator." He even further added, and I quote, "He will get you to change your story," end of quote. You see, that's obstruction of justice. You cannot tell somebody to not cooperate or talk to the defense side. Matter of fact, she further added that she was also scared to talk to me because another neighbor in this complex had physically threatened her with violence and told her that if she talked to me, the private investigator on the criminal defense side, that he would cause harm to her. And then the same person that called her, or actually that threatened her, actually called my office and left a threatening message on my voicemail, yelling and telling me and ordering me to stop my investigation. What's interesting about this case is the homicide detective that was in charge of this murder case, I actually have known for a couple decades. I shared that with the defense attorney that hired me, and very unusually he did say, if you would like to meet with him, go ahead, and even give him a copy of the work product, which I did. I actually met with the homicide detective, and I sat at his desk for quite a while. We talked about the case. He wasn't willing to listen or reason or even think outside of the box. But what's interesting is as soon as I left the police department, I went to my office. I then was contacted by the defense attorney on this matter, And I discovered that the homicide detective fired off a retaliatory email to the district attorney's office advising the DA's office that I was manipulating his key witness, that I was trying to get her to change her story, and that I was attempting to keep her from testifying. This is pretty interesting because none of that occurred. As a matter of fact, the key witness would even testify to that. You remember earlier I said either the key witness was lying to me or lying to the police. It would have to be one or the other, so I thought. At this time we found out that her interview was actually tape recorded by the homicide detective. As a matter of fact, it wasn't only audio tape recorded, it was video tape recorded as well. Once we found out about this, we tried to get the tape and it just wasn't available. It disappeared. We made multiple attempts to get it, and then we got different stories. Then we learned that the duplicating machine was broken, and now they can't make copies. And pretty soon the DA finally had to fire off 2 demands for the videotape. Once we got the videotape, this is where the story unraveled, and we were literally shocked. You see, this key witness, she never lied to anybody. She told the same story to the detective that she told me. She never, ever saw our client shoot and kill the victim. Why did the homicide detective change his report from what she said? We'll never know. We'll never know. But before you know it, the client's charges were dismissed by the district attorney, and he was found to be factually innocent. I have much great respect for this district attorney because she was fair and objective. It wasn't as if she was playing a sport and she had to win. All she wanted was good justice. As a matter of fact, on the phone she told me, she said, "Bill, the police investigation was a, quote, botched investigation," close quote. She further added to me, and I quote, "Bill, my primary job is not to prosecute. It is to uphold justice and to seek the truth, then to only prosecute with solid facts," close quote. Until the next time, Godspeed.